The first sound was not static. It was a voice, trembling and distorted, hidden deep inside the radio's hum. Evan Cole froze, his heart pounding as he leaned closer, hearing his own name whispered through the static. The storm outside rattled his trailer walls, but this sound was colder, almost pleading. He turned every dial, convinced it was interference until the voice repeated, "Evan, help me." It was his brother Adam's voice. Adam, who had vanished 6 months ago in the desert near the old observatory, leaving only tire tracks and silence. Panic and hope collided inside him. He replayed the recording over and over until dawn, realizing the signal wasn't coming from deep space. It was local, somewhere between the Earth and the stars, like an echo that refused to die. Dr. Mariah Reyes hadn't stepped near a telescope in years, not since NASA dismissed her for pursuing unprovable theories. But when Evan brought her the recording, the pattern in the sound made her blood run cold. The frequency matched one she'd encountered during a classified study of radio anomalies from the 1970s. Together, they drove to the abandoned Roswell Observatory, now a rusted skeleton of its former glory. Inside, the old computers still blinked faintly, running encrypted programs that hadn't been shut down in decades. One folder stood out, Project Orbit. Inside were photographs of people who had gone missing in the town, faces frozen in black and white, each tagged with coordinates. The same coordinates that matched the source of the signal. Sheriff Tom Briggs had seen disappearances before, hikers, drifters, the usual desert ghosts. But when a VHS tape arrived on his doorstep, things changed. The footage was grainy, flickering, showing people suspended in air, eyes wide open, motionless in some black void. A woman's voice on the tape whispered, "We're still here." Briggs took it to the mayor, hoping for answers, but instead found fear. The mayor warned him that some truths weren't meant to be uncovered, that the files from 1973 were sealed for national safety. The phrase echoed in Briggs's head as he stared at the tape again that night. He realized the town wasn't cursed. It was haunted by science, by something humans had built and lost control of. And whatever it wasn't finished. The following nights grew stranger. Lights flickered, radios screamed without power, and people began hearing voices of their dead loved ones whispering through their phones. Evan's radio burst alive again, this time filled with dozens of overlapping voices. Some cried, some screamed, some simply repeated his name. Then one voice cut through, Adam's. "We never left, we're above you." Mariah decoded the signal and found it matched an experimental teleportation frequency classified during the Cold War. It wasn't extraterrestrial at all, it was man-made. She realized that Project Orbit had tried to store human consciousness inside electromagnetic waves, and the test subjects had never returned. Their bodies were gone, but their minds, their voices, had become trapped in an endless loop circling the Earth. Decades earlier, in 1973, Project Orbit had begun under the guise of space research. NASA and Air Force scientists dreamed of preserving life through electromagnetic transference, turning thought into signal, memory into light. But something went wrong. The experiment drew power beyond control, tearing open a dimension where consciousness lost its physical anchor. The test subjects vanished, not dead, but displaced. The government shut everything down, calling it a solar radiation failure. Dr. Mariah Reyes's mentor was among those lost, and she now realized she'd been chasing her ghosts all along. The signal Evan found wasn't random. It was a distress call from the trapped minds of the past, still orbiting just out of reach. Evan couldn't sleep. Every night, he returned to the radio, trying to answer the voices. After weeks of experiments, he built a transmitter strong enough to send a reply. The moment he spoke Adam's name into the mic, the response came instantly, "Don't trust them." The signal cracked and hissed, and then another voice joined in, the mayor's. Sheriff Briggs uncovered hidden documents linking the mayor to the original Project Orbit team. The man's obsession had returned after his wife disappeared during the experiment. Now he planned to reactivate the machine to bring her back. Briggs realized that the missing were only the beginning. If the experiment restarted, everyone in the town could be pulled into the same orbit of lost consciousness. When the machine powered up again, the sky split open. People screamed as streetlights exploded and shadows twisted into forms that looked human but weren't. Evan and Mariah raced through the storm to the observatory, where the reactor core of Project Orbit pulsed with blinding blue light. Inside, they found the mayor, half-mad, speaking to the voices as if his wife were in the room. The readings showed the frequency tearing reality apart, feeding on memories to sustain the loop. Destroying the machine could release the trapped souls, but it would also erase every trace of them, including Adam. The town trembled, caught between two realities. As the signal grew louder, threatening to consume them all, Evan made his choice. With trembling hands, he rerouted the transmitter, reversing the polarity to collapse the orbit from within. Mariah begged him to stop, but he smiled weakly. "He's waiting for me." The moment he activated the sequence, the light swallowed everything. Evan's body dissolved into energy, his voice merging with the signal as a final burst of sound echoed through the desert. The skies cleared. The radio went silent. Days later, the town began to heal, though no one could explain what had happened. In NASA's Houston control room, a young technician monitoring deep space frequencies froze. A faint human voice had just broken through, a whisper repeating one word, over and over. "Evan."